Hey guys, it's Sam, and today I'm answering your questions for my 25,000 subscriber Q&A. Last week I put out a video saying that I was going to do a Q&A and thanking you all for supporting me and getting me to 25,000 subscribers. Again, I'm so grateful to all of you. It still blows me away. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to be like, that's a thing. It's weird. I asked some really great questions. I'm going to try to get through as many of them as possible. Do you guys hear that? That needy cat. Oh my gosh. Drama. I don't think I've shown Big C in a very long time, but this is one of my babies. This is one of my kitties. This is the one that I've had since he was a kitten. The other two are cats that I got when they were a little bit older. So he's the actual baby. He's mama's baby, and he's so needy. Why are you needy? I haven't shown him in a long time, so I will link, if I can find it, the video where I showed him last. And he did a similar thing where he's like trying to go on my shelves. No, we're not playing that game. He's so needy though, like if you lock him out of a room, he just sits there and cries. No, we're not playing this game. Say bye. You're so handsome. So the first question is, if you could cast a Six of Crows film, who would you cast to play them? I've actually been asked this before on Tumblr, but my ideal fan cast is really in line with what the fandom has said as well for the most part. So these are names that if you guys are in the Six of Crows fandom and have seen like fan casts, it's probably these people. So cast for me in my head is a mashup of Cillian Murphy and Richard Harmon, who plays Murphy on D100. So since Cillian is actually too old, I would obviously want to cast Richard. And then Inej is Neelam Gill, like always. That's, I think, everybody's universal pick for Inej. Like, that's who it is. That I really like, and I don't know how to pronounce her name, Barbie Ferreira? That's not right. As Nina. She's beautiful. She's like such a plus size. I think she's like a plus size model. She's gorgeous and she works perfectly for Nina. Matthias I've always pictured as Charlie Hunnam because initially before the book even came out, Lee had like a Pinterest board or something or mentioned him as like a fan cast even though he's obviously way older than the character. So I've always kind of pictured him. But I've also seen fan casts of Christopher Mason and I think that'd be a really good fit for somebody who's actually like younger. And Jesper is kind of a mix of Olivier Garrity and Dudley O'Shaughnessy. I am really bad at these names, guys. But those are the two people that I kind of picture as him. So yeah, start off with a bang where I can't pronounce names. I actually looked at pronunciations. I'm just really bad at like repeating them. I'm so sorry. I hate that, but I'm sorry. I did my best. The next question is, imagine an author is doing a character based on you. What author would you choose for that? So who would you want to write a book about that's based on you? Maybe Victoria Schwab. And so she can actually like make me kind of an alter ego, like my ideal self, because she writes like lady anti-heroes like really well. So if she could make me an anti-hero or like a villain, yeah, let's do that. If you were only allowed to read one book for the rest of your life, which would it be? Series don't count, just one book from said series. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I've been asked this one before, and it's so easy. I would read that over and over again. No regrets. If you were to rob a bank, which character would you do it with? I think Locke from The Lies of Locke Lamora. I would also say it'd be fun to do it with Kaz, because again, they're a similar character, but Locke, Kaz is great, obviously. Locke is so extra, like, even more so that you're just like, I can't even. So it'd be like pretty easy to do probably. I also feel like Kelsier would be a good pick as well, especially with his abilities, because it'd be like really super simple. He's done heist type things before, and in our world, if he had that ability, he'd be unstoppable. So either of those two really would be like the perfect team. But I want to say Locke just because Locke is like a thief. It's what he does. So I'm sure he's robbed plenty of banks in his time. It'd be like no problem. It'd be like, oh, I can do that at like 3 o'clock on Tuesday. If you could have a spin-off book series for any character, who would you choose? Tsukiko from the Night Circus, probably. I've wanted that from the beginning, and we're never gonna get it. We're never gonna get it, but I would really love that. The other question they asked was most anticipated debut novel or first book in a series. Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. This one's coming out in fall of 2017, so it'll be on a most anticipated releases video later on next year sometime. But it's the first book in a trilogy, and it's a YA series, and it's a reimagining of the Evil Queen in Snow White, but also tying in and bringing in and based on Asian folklore mythology. It sounds so good. I cannot wait. Someone asked if you could magically write a book, what would it be about? And I have a story idea. I sort of hate that I have a story idea because I think about a year ago I made a video that was like, I'm not a writer, I don't really intend to be a writer, and I still kind of don't, and I don't consider myself a writer, and I'm not sure if I would ever actually write this, but I'm in the process of putting a story idea together. It's something that I kind of thought of and it's kind of stuck, and then things have really added on to it, and I just kind of am putting all the ingredients together right now. And I'm not writing anything, I'm just kind of, it's not even an outline, I'm just kind of being like, what about this, what about this, what about this? So yeah, there's a lot of elements, so I don't even really want to say anything about it, but I think it would be very me. If you guys know anything about me, which if you're here, you probably do. And there's going to be like mythology elements mixed into it, obviously. And there's going to be a lot of like girls being badass. And it's going to be like my aesthetic. Because that's what a book that I would write would be. So that book, if I could just magically write it, and it could potentially even be a series. I'm still very like, blah, and someone's going to talk to me in like 5 years and be like, where's that book you were going to write? And be like, I never promised anything. But if that could just be written, and I could just like not have to do anything with it, and just like spew my thoughts onto a page magically, like that's what I would write. Because I don't want to write it. Like I don't want to have to put the work into it. I'm lazy and I don't have time right now. Like I'm lazy in the like writing sense where I don't have the motivation to do that. I'm in school, I do this, and I work full time. I don't have time to write a book right now, in my opinion. So yeah, that was my long ranty thing, because like I don't want to have a book idea, but I do, damn it. In a movie about your life, who would you want to play you? I think Emma Stone. I've been told before that I kind of look like Emma Stone / remind people of Emma Stone. I think it's the deep voice, and right after The Help came out, when I had my longer hair, obviously, and I had the same kind of glasses as her character wore in The Help, I had multiple people come up to me like out in public and be like, you really look like Emma Stone. If you could live in one fictional world for the rest of your life, which one would you choose? So many fictional worlds are dangerous, and I think this has been a question in like tags and stuff before. I don't know, man, because there's so many, they're just dangerous, and like it's not like a fun time for anyone really. So like I don't want to live in any of, I'm looking at all of them like I don't want to live in any of them. Like I'm just nervous, and like I don't want to really. I want to say Mistborn, that world, but also like most people are living in poverty, and it's not a fun time if you don't have abilities, which like most people wouldn't, and I probably wouldn't. And like the Grisha trilogy is the same kind of thing. There's a lot of like social injustices in the world. I don't want to deal with that. And Fallen Kingdoms is all fucked up, and I don't really want to. I don't really want to. Like maybe I would do The Long Way to the Small Angry Planet, because things are like pretty much okay in there, and it's space, you know? Like realistically, if I could live in the Mass Effect world, I would. So I would say that, even though that's like I don't know, man, that's dangerous too. There's a lot of bad stuff happening in that video game franchise. Like worlds are just being destroyed. I don't know. This is a stressful question. None of them. You know, Harry Potter, bad things are happening, and it's dangerous, and, like, I wouldn't want to live in Lord of the Rings or anything like that, or Mordor. Like, no. I don't want to live in any fantasy worlds, fictional worlds. I'm fine right here. Next question is, what is your biggest guilty pleasure book series? And I am doing this typical answer of, like, nothing's a guilty pleasure, because I'm fine with it. But, like, books that I feel like I say I like, and then follow with, like, these are kind of trash. Like, those are kind of, I guess, guilty pleasures books. Books that I can, like, point out a ton of flaws in, but I still like them. The Shadow Me series by Todd Maffei. I think the Anita Blake series can be guilty pleasure at times, because I do think the first part of that series is really good. The Anita Blake series by Laura K. Hamilton, it's an adult urban fantasy series that I, like, grew up on. So, I've talked about it before, but in case no one knows. So, the first, like, 10 books I think are actually really good, but then later it's just like, oh, this is not that great. And then, like, the Luck series by Jennifer L. Armentrout I think are guilty pleasures. Someone asked if you've ever been recognized in public in any stories. I've been recognized in public at, like, book events, like, big book events, you know, like BEA and stuff where people, like, that watch are going to be there. I've never been recognized in public, like, walking around. I live in a small state. I don't go to bookshops, really, because there aren't any around here, and I don't think I'm big enough. I'm not big enough at all to be just, like, recognized randomly in public unless somebody magically, like, lives next door to me and watches my channel. So, I don't get recognized, like, day to day. That's not a reality of my life. But, like, book events, obviously, like, Y'all Fest, I'll get recognized, and, like, BEA and stuff like that. And that's always awesome. I always love it. I love not necessarily being recognized, people coming up to me and saying, like, I love your channel, whatever. I just love meeting you guys. It's so cool. And just, like, putting faces with names and just, like, putting faces with people that, like I said earlier, there's 25,000 people subscribed to my channel. That's a weird thing that I can't wrap my mind around fully, but seeing people is awesome. And there's been a couple really cool situations, like anytime somebody is like near tears or anxious to meet me is like cool, weird, and cool at the same time. Like, not weird in that I'm judging them or anything, but just like the fact that like my channel could mean so much to somebody is just like means a lot to me. Like that somebody is that connected to like my personality and my channel and stuff. That's awesome. And then I remember 2 years ago at BEA, I think, a woman came up to me, and I'm forgetting her name, but she said that her and her sons, I believe, her like little kids, watched me, and they, one of her boys' names is also Sam, so like it was a cute little thing, and I was like, oh, it's so adorable. And just, yeah, any of those kind of things where like people, you know, say how they're like, I'm part of their routine as far as like watching my videos in the morning or whatever, or they're like, I'm their favorite booktuber, just like mind blown. Any of those are really awesome. Like, and even people that I met when I was really, really new, like the first book event I ever went to, I was standing in line for Marissa Meyer for a signing, and a girl turned around and she's like, I think you have a channel, right? And I had like 500 subscribers at that point. But again, it's a book event, so like you're with your people. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, I think I've seen your videos. I was like, cool. So that's always really cool. Like when I first was just growing and I had those kind of interactions, that was really awesome. It never gets old. It's never something that I'm gonna like take for granted ever. It's always cool. And every interaction is always super, super cool. Is there an author that you won't read or a series that you won't read, and why? I think I've done a like series I won't complete video. That's a fairly old video. Is there an author? I'm not going to read any like Orson Scott Card because he's a douche. I'm not going to continue with the Throne of Glass series. I talk about the Throne of Glass series a lot because people love it when I drag it on like Tumblr and stuff. So I'm not going to continue that series, but like I don't really care. I'm still continuing with ACOTAR because I love it. I wouldn't read anything else by Paulina Simons because I hate it. I wouldn't read anything else by Jamie McGuire because I hated her other books. I can't think of any books that I've like really written off because typically speaking, the books that have like a big controversy around them that pop up, I wasn't planning on reading anyway. So yeah, I can think of a couple books that have come out controversially that I wouldn't read, but I also wasn't planning on reading them even before like the controversial stuff came out about them. So yeah. Someone asked, what were your favorite books when you were an adolescent? My favorite series as an adolescent and growing up, I've talked about before, I've mentioned this video, was the Anita Blake series by Laurel K. Hamilton. It's an adult urban fantasy series, so like, you know, vampires, werewolves, the whole shebang. And it was like one of the, not originals, but it came out around the same time as like the Charlaine Harris, Sookie Stackhouse series and stuff, so it was like with all of those. And there's like 22, 25 books in the series now, and I read the first like 17, and it was a series where like I'd finish the mass market paperback and then go into the next one from Barnes & Noble, you know, continue, and I reread them all at least 5 times. Like that was a series that was my Harry Potter. When everyone else was reading Harry Potter, I was reading Laurel K. Hamilton, which has some mature content. It's very violent, and there's like a lot of sex and stuff in it, which I would just kind of like blah over. But there's a lot going on in there. So that is maybe one of my formative books as far as like books that I really liked the character because she's like a kick-ass female character, is not here for your misogyny, and is awesome. So yeah, I mean, like, I have a soft spot for those, like, kind of trashy urban fantasy series and, like, all of those, like, paranormal type series because I grew up on those. What book character do you find yourself relating to most and why? I don't know, man. Like, there's never been, like, one character that I've been like, ooh, that's me. I mean, like, I had moments with, like, Kath from Fangirl as far as her, like, social anxiety and anxiety about going away to school and stuff like that I related to a ton. Also, Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. I believe the main character's name is Sam, but she has OCD, which is obviously, like, an anxiety disorder, and I relate to a lot of stuff with her. And also a lot of just things and events and reactions in Just Visiting by Dahlia Adler, which is another contemporary. Not any character specifically, because those characters are very different than me, but there were so many moments in that book that I was just like, I've had this experience. This is a real experience. So those kinds of things. I don't have like one specific character that I'm like, ooh, that person is like me, but just like little moments of like kind of nostalgia that I relate to more. Someone asked, if you had to time travel back in time to live there for the rest of your life, what time period would you choose and why? This is very similar to the fictional worlds thing. None, dude, because there's so many, like, as a female, there's so many time periods that I am not going to be treated properly in, respected in. I mean, like, in control of my body, like, no. So, like, I'm thinking my gut reaction is, like, Sparta. Because, like, why wouldn't I? Because I feel like the women there, and again, it's still at the same level as, like, the men, but there's a little more equality there with, like, Spartan society, but again, not the same, you know, levels or whatever as, like, it should have been. But they still had, I feel like, a higher level of that than anybody else. But yeah, like, you're not gonna have a lot of rights, and it's not gonna be a fun time. Like, if I can take back and have all the social norms of right now, then that's a different story. And there's a lot of really cool time periods. Like I would love like ancient Egypt, and really any of like the ancient time period would be like my thing. But it wouldn't be a fun time for me. I would probably be like, you know, enslaved or something, or a servant, and be treated really poorly, and it be not in control of my body, and people could do whatever they want. No, I don't really want that. So, no. If you could cosplay any book character, who would you choose and why? Probably Elena from the Grisha trilogy, because she's my fave, but also like, it's tough because when you cosplay somebody, you want people to recognize you. Like, you don't want to have to explain it or whatever. And the Grisha trilogy, while amazing and really popular, overall for like a convention, isn't popular enough for people to actually recognize who you are. So that's like a tough one. What are some of your favorite bands to listen to? I have answered this before, but they are always constantly in flux. So right now it is still Digital Daggers, who I've mentioned before in the past, but Paris is one of my favorite bands. I love their entire album. It's so, so good. And I'm really liking Dorothy a lot. A lot. And the Ambassadors, I'm really liking them. Like, I don't really like the stuff that's on the radio, but some of their other songs are like so good. What has been your favorite memory that you've gotten to experience because of Booktube? I think just going to book events. Like, I would never have gone to book events before because I had no one to stay with and I didn't have like friends there, and it just wouldn't have been as fun for me. But going now, so getting to go to things like BEA and getting to be like on panels and interview authors and really just hang out with my friends though is like amazing. Like, the people that I've met through Booktube that I never would have met any other way are what make Booktube for me. Like, everything else could go away. I could lose every single other subscriber that I had. As long as my friends were still my friends, which they would be, that's fine. Like, I have succeeded in life. That is fine. That is what I'm here for. If you could travel anywhere and spend 1 month in one location, where would you go and why? Probably Rome. I've mentioned before that Rome is one of my favorite places ever. I have visited before and I was only there for like 3 days. And I think a place like Rome, you need like a month to just be there. And like, that's all you do. And you just explore and like eat all the food and see all the places, because Rome is just like so amazing because it's such a big city and you have the modern with the ancient and then everything in between mixed in because it's so old. It's just like, it's so freaking cool. And I love it so much. But I didn't get to experience a ton of it because like I said, I was on there for 3 days and I was exhausted. So yeah, I would love to just be there. It'd be amazing. I want to make it happen, but I don't know when that would ever happen, but I would love it. What real life jobs would you pick for some of your favorite fantasy characters? Oh man, they can't have jobs. They don't know what to do. I think Kestrel from the Winners trilogy would make a really good lawyer. I think Agnieszka from Uprooted would make a really good like doctor. Juliet from Shatter Me Was Real, she would want to go into some kind of psychology thing with all the trauma that she went through, so I think that she would make a good like social worker, therapist type person. And Celia from the Night Circus, I can see being like a party event planner, like for celebrities and stuff, like a big time, you know, organizer, stuff like that. Someone asked a video game question. So describe your dream video game, plot, setting, character. I know it's not book related, but I was so excited when I found out you played Mass Effect. My dream video game is Mass Effect. Like, those kinds of games, I have discovered that I've gotten not sick of like fantasy games, since I'm always gonna play fantasy games, but I'm playing Dragon Age Inquisition right now, which I'm really loving. Loving it a lot more than Dragon Age 2, which was a shit game, by the way. But the world is not that fascinating to me because I don't think the world is that well done in comparison to other worlds like the Elder Scrolls games, for example. I don't love the Elder Scrolls characters as much, or like, I kind of like the storyline like about equally, but obviously the character interactions are like a totally different level. So I love the world of the Elder Scrolls games though. Like, that fantasy world is on point. Also the Witcher fantasy world, which I know are based on books, is really good. So if I was gonna do like a fantasy game, it would be that kind of, like those kinds of fantasy worlds, like a little bit darker, but really well built. Because I do feel like at times, like although Dragon Age is really complicated at times, it's too much where I'm just like, I don't understand all this. And like, I read a lot of fantasy and I do a lot of fantasy stuff and I watch a lot of fantasy movies, and there's just stuff where I'm just like glazing over, like, I don't know what. So really well built like that, and having the character interactions that you have in BioWare games. Like, I'm BioWare trash. I love it. Like, all of the character interactions, like, that's where I'm not reading as much this year because I'm playing a ton of BioWare games, because you have those connections to characters and stuff that you have with books. So I love those kinds of characters. Like, having a crew, I like not just playing solo, though I've played a ton of like solo games, but I like having like a team and you interacting with that team. Like, those are my ideal kind of games. So BioWare games are my shit, man. And like any kind of space, sci-fi, you know, space opera, video games, sign me up for every single one. Like, obviously looking forward to Mass Effect Andromeda completely. If there was going to be another franchise like that, oh yeah, like anything like that would be amazing. But yeah, having a cast of characters, having a option to have a female character as the lead, because only downside to Witcher is that they have amazing characters as well, but you have to be just the Witcher, and that's Geralt, and he's a dude. So I'd like to have a lady character option, customization of characters, and just a really solid story like any of the... I mean, all the games I play I feel like have really solid stories. So like, I love the Assassin's Creed franchise, I like the Final Fantasy franchise for as over the top as it is, and I like Dragon Age and Mass Effect and stuff, so any of those kinds of things. But yeah, like... I hate to be like such BioWare trash, but I'm like, BioWare games, that's my ideal game. Like, can I play anything else and love it quite as much? I don't know. It's bad, dude. Do you have a job outside of YouTube, and if so, what do you do for work, or do you do YouTube full-time? Basically every booktuber has a full-time job. I'm not yelling at you, like, but it's just one of those things where like, I do feel like there is, from people who aren't in it, who view booktube videos, people are like, oh, everyone's getting paid, everyone's getting sponsored, and everybody works just YouTube. No. No. Maybe that happens, I think, for maybe, off the top of my head, I can think of 4 people who don't have full-time jobs that I'm aware of that do, like, with booktube and stuff, but that's extremely rare and, like, a lucky one-time kind of instance thing. So I do not make enough money off of videos or any sponsorships, because I've only, in the whole time I've had my channel, I've done 2 sponsored content things. And that was really, really recently. So, no. So yeah, I do not make enough money to live off of YouTube, and most booktubers do not either, just so you guys all know. I am a social worker. I'm a full-time social worker. I do adoptions and foster care. I'm trying to get out of that. I'm currently getting my master's in social work, and I'm going to be doing medical social work, probably oncology. I actually just got a placement. I talked about this when it happened. I just got a placement at a really major cancer center here in my state, and I'm going to be doing inpatient, outpatient, and cancer psychology in this internship placement. It's going to be fucking amazing. It's ideal. It's perfect. And after that placement, all the doors to any oncology department with social work and like psychology will be open to me. Like I could get like any job after that, after I get my master's. So that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward, and I'm really looking forward to it. So this is really long. I'm going to have to break it into multiple videos, so stay tuned for that, and I will post it hopefully soon. Also, the giveaway winners have been chosen, so they are linked right here, their names, and they've already been contacted via email and Twitter. I am pre-filming this before the giveaway is done, so I can't list them here in this video, but they have already been contacted, so thank you guys so much. I will be running giveaways more in the future. I always try to do giveaways occasionally throughout the year, and there will be more in the future, so stay tuned for those if you are interested in giveaways and stuff. I'm going to be doing some more like art giveaways and stuff for any also like subscriber goals in the future. So thank you guys all for all of your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you guys soon. Bye.